Hi pals, welcome back. Thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed and watched the past couple of videos, shared feedback. I have loved reading your feedback and your comments on the videos, and it's so much fun. I'm loving this platform so much. So thank you for being here. Please subscribe, like, share, comment if you like this video or others. The format that I'm going with today is sort of emulating something that I've done on Instagram before, kind of when I keep noodling on a topic, whether it's because I'm reading about something, I'm working through something in therapy, I'm inspired by something, if I'm kind of thinking about it a lot. I've historically done long rants on Instagram stories, and doing 10 1-minute stories talking at the camera is too long for that format, but it's perfect for here. So that's what I'm going to do today, and I really am thinking about like how I want to format my YouTube videos, and I think what I would like to do is kind of sprinkle in kind of exactly what I've done so far, do some tips, tricks, whether that's packing or style or projects, some just kind of talking about my life in my home like I did last time with the textile tour, and sometimes just gabbing about a topic that I am thinking about and noodling on. And today's topic is curiosity, and I'm thinking about this a lot because number one, that is one of my like core personal and brand values: staying curious, approaching life with curiosity. Because I think if I continue to approach consciously every situation with curiosity, it's an opportunity for me to learn and try to approach the situation with compassion. And that is very important to me, to practice compassion and curiosity. And I saw online that the style icon Iris Apfel passed away. She was 102. You probably have seen photos of her, just a force when it comes to fashion. Admittedly, I don't know that much about her, but I am very inspired to go and do some research, maybe read some articles and interviews with her. But I saw someone post a quote of hers, and it said, great personal style is having an extreme curiosity about yourself. And that just hit me so hard, because my personal style journey and my mental health journey, I guess, are intertwined. I was struggling with anxiety and depression, feeling very agitated and discontent with my life, and I couldn't articulate that. I definitely did not have the tools that I have now to be able to articulate my feelings and self-reflect and process them. But I knew that I was just feeling like this isn't it for me. And at the same time that I was feeling that way, I started experimenting. I started thrifting a lot more, trying to find really cool outfits and pieces that felt more like me, without really realizing that that's what I was doing. And I often felt very jealous and envious of folks who were living these sort of creative lives that they had decided for themselves. And what that meant to me, looking back now, is that I wasn't happy with kind of the life path I was on. I had done kind of the societal expectation of going to college, getting a job, finding a partner. I had wanted to find a partner, have kids, buy a house, work my job forever, retire, because I hadn't really thought about what I wanted for myself. And at that time in my life, I wasn't happy with the steps that I had taken along that path. No one had ever explicitly expressed that I needed to do those things. There was no like direct pressure from anyone. It's just kind of like that's societal programming, right? Like these are kind of the things that a lot of people do, so we feel like, oh man, if I don't do that thing, then I'm doing something wrong. When in fact, when I started to have this curiosity about myself, when I started to think about, how do I want to spend my time? Who do I want to spend my time with? What's missing from my life? And for me, it was creativity. And I have always been a creative person. I was definitely always a creative kid in all of the art classes I could take. Even in engineering college, I took art classes and got an art minor. And I think I was scared to pursue that as a full-time thing because of societal programming and fear. And so, you know, I tried to live this rigid life with one label of being an engineer and doing this path, and it wasn't enough. And that's okay. And I'm so grateful that I recognize that in myself, because I am still working in that field, albeit at a different job. But I have allowed myself to let go of that label as a defining factor in my life. That is a job, and that is something that I enjoy doing, and it pays the bills, but that is such a small facet of my life. And my true expression is so much bigger than that. I have such a big life, and it's so beautiful, and I'm so grateful that I recognized in myself that I was unhappy. Not even unhappy, but just not quite fulfilled. And I think that is something that, it's the reason why I say that curiosity is one of my core values, because staying curious is my approach with prioritizing play. It's trying things, it's making time for things that are fun and silly, because what if that becomes the thing that I'm obsessed with and that brings me the most joy in my life? Staying curious when I meet someone new. What kind of relationships could this turn into? Could this be my new best friend, or a new partner, or a new mentor that could help me learn and grow, or introduce me to someone who's going to inspire me with a creative project? Or, you know, there are so many reasons to approach life with curiosity, and I just feel like it was so important to my personal development to stay curious. And that curiosity, always wanting to learn and grow, is so core to my being now. And I think it's because at that time where I was feeling so much discontent, I wanted to learn about style and figure out what worked for me, what colors, what patterns, what pairings, like what kind of casual and formal mixes could I put together that made me feel like myself. And in using clothes as tools of self-expression, I was able to kind of unravel this societal programming that I had really leaned into. And so I think this is one of the reasons why I talk so much about how style is so much more than just clothes. It's so much more than just buying the trendy thing. For me, it's about understanding. It's a tool for understanding yourself and expressing it on the outside. And the more that we can tap into who we are on the inside and express it on the outside, the more that we're going to feel trust in ourselves, so that we can trust when we feel this urge to try a new hobby, or we can trust ourselves to recognize when someone is a great fit for a relationship, whether that's platonic or romantic, or recognizing when something isn't serving our lives anymore. I feel very in tune with myself since I've started kind of doing so much self-reflection, and it's easier and easier to kind of let things that go that aren't serving me. And that doesn't mean that they won't serve someone else in a lovely capacity, but really kind of fine-tuning what makes me the most fulfilled, how I spend my time, who I spend my time with, how I dress, how I express myself and understand myself. I attribute that all to curiosity. And I think curiosity can also be applied to feelings. Like I mentioned a minute ago about how back when I was feeling this sort of like, ooh, I don't feel right. This isn't right. This isn't how I'm meant to be living my life. I'm meant to have a bigger life. I remember thinking that so much, like, my life is supposed to be bigger than this. And just a couple years later, I feel like it is. It's big. My life is so big and beautiful and wonderful, filled with all of the creative things that I love to do and wonderful people that are such great friends and supportive community members in my personal community. And I just have this understanding of self that I didn't have before. But had I not approached my feelings of jealousy and envy with curiosity, which, to be fair, like, I didn't know that I was doing this. It's not like I was like, oh, I wonder why I'm feeling jealous or envious of this person. It was more like, wow, that person is living a really cool life. Like, I want that. Why do I want that? How do I get that? And how I got that is trying new things. I have done so many different creative outlets because creativity for me and like artistic expression is so core to my being. And I truly think that everyone is creative, and it just might show up in different ways. And I think, you know, same thing with societal programming. A lot of us are told when we're younger, like, oh, you're not creative, or that's not good. So you internalize that and you think like, oh, well, I'm not an artist. I'm not creative because I don't know how to draw. And it's like, actually, everybody knows how to draw. It's just a matter of subjective opinion whether that drawing is good or not, right? Like, most of us know how to use a pencil and like generally draw a tree. It could be a triangle with a line, or it could be a photorealistic drawing of a tree. And wow, I'm really rambling here, but I think all of this is to say that there's a lot of programming when we're kids that, you know, we internalize a lot of the things that people say. And I think if we can start to notice those thoughts in our head and those feelings like, oh, I'm not creative. Like, if you see something that I make and you think, oh, I could never do that, stay curious. Ask yourself why. Why don't you think you could ever do that? Making a quilt is sewing straight lines, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, that is what a hobby is. It's not about being perfect. It's about enjoying how you're spending your time. And same thing with like this jealousy and envy that I was feeling. Had I had the wherewithal to be like, why am I feeling this envy? I probably would have been able to kind of shift the path of my life a little bit sooner, but I'm grateful for the path that I have taken. But I think that staying curious, asking yourself, you know, why do I think this? Why do I think I'm not creative? Or why do I envy this person? And it's probably less likely that you're thinking that this person, you know, is doing life better than you. It's just that you're not happy with how you're currently living your life. And that's me talking about myself. I think that is what I was feeling. I wasn't happy with how I was living my life, and I was trying to surround myself with people that were living these non-traditional lives, you know, tattoo artists and graphic designers and bakers and, you know, people who were doing things that were not my path, but I never left mine. So it didn't matter how many people I surrounded myself with, I was still not happy with how I was living my life. And when I started making an effort to change that path and to make that path more in alignment with what I actually wanted for myself, I was so much happier. I became so much happier, more fulfilled. My life got bigger. My relationships deepened so much. You know, friendships kind of fell away if they actually weren't nourishing, and that's okay. So all of this rambling, and I'm going to keep this one shorter than the others, is to say that I'm so happy that I felt this deep down urge to change my life. And it wasn't anything big that happened. It was just small changes. I started going to therapy. I started experimenting with style. I learned how to quilt, you know, and all of this is happening over years and years. And I'm able to articulate it now, long-winded, of course, but I wasn't able to then. So if you're on this path of, I want something more for my life. I want a bigger life. I want better relationships. I want more hobbies. I want to be more creative or bring creativity back into my life. You can. And I think it's just really recognizing what isn't serving you and taking little tiny steps to change that so that you can live your dream life. Because I think that I am proof that you can, even if you don't quit your job, even if you don't, you know, sell everything you own and move to another country. I think you can maintain the, you know, the baseline life of making sure that you're going to work and getting your bills paid and putting food on the table, while also making time and space for the bigger part, the more fulfilling part. And for me, that is all of my creative practices and my friendships. So I hope that this made sense. I think that this is something that I think about a lot, just how far I've come in the last handful of years by staying curious and pursuing self-reflection and trying really hard to understand the choices that I've made and why I'm feeling certain ways, so that I can pivot. I can, you know, make micro adjustments in my life to make sure that I'm living my dream life now. So I hope you were able to get a little bit of something out of this video. And I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see what next week's video brings, but please subscribe and like and share and let me know if you would like to see something specific. I have plenty of topics like this I can rant about, but today, curiosity took the top spot. So stay curious and have the best day, my friends.